Hey, it's John McCabe. Welcome to the show. Hey, welcome to the John A. McCabe Show, where it's all about accelerating your authority in your business or field of expertise. And I do that by helping entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers get seen, get heard, get noticed on any device, anywhere, anytime, in as little as 15 hours worth of effort, also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Today's show is Real Estate Investing Monday, where I discuss the business of real estate investing with my guest. Now, today's guest has been on the show before discussing his entrepreneur's journey, and he's back to discuss how to win at real estate and the business of real estate investing. Now, the lure of real estate investing is glamorized by the investment seminars that travel around the country, building up people's dreams and their desires with the hope of freedom in the near future. They make it seem as if anyone can do real estate investing and will make big cash doing so, and you just need to buy their $20,000 to $60,000 course to do so. They're correct in the fact that anyone can do real estate investing, but most people aren't cut out for the business. Now, if the investors don't have the cash and credit to invest, they're sold on the dream that they can do no money down deals, easy and simple. What they fail to tell them is how much hard work it is to actually do that no money down real estate. Take it from me and my experience. Trust me, it's not easy. Now, my guest today is no stranger to real estate investing and the investing business. And I know from reading his book, he has the same opinion on the real estate investing seminar industry as I do. So many people have lost their savings, retirements, and maxed out their credit cards in order to buy into courses that they'll never use. Now, Joey Ragona recently authored the book, How to Win at Real Estate to Break the Freedom Barrier. Now, Joey clearly lays out who his book is not for, as well as who it is for. It's not a book on a particular strategy like buy, rent, and hold, rent to own, flipping, etc. And it's not for the get-rich-quick people. It isn't for people looking to do creative real estate investing or for those people who want another how-to invest in real estate book. It's a book about designing your real estate investing business with your lifestyle today as a priority and your lifestyle tomorrow as the goal. Now, Joey's book is a very easy read, and he even gives some suggestions on how to use the book to your ultimate advantage. Now, when I met Joey back in 2011, we were both enrolled into the same mastermind group that just happened to be comprised of more than 50% real estate investors at the time. Now, just like myself, Joey was focused on building and growing his real estate investing business, focusing on joint ventures, working with other investors and educating them to build a successful real estate investing business. So don't go away, because when I return, I'm going to be joined by my good friend, Joey Ragona. Hey, thanks for joining me on today's show, Real Estate Investing Monday, where we talk with a successful real estate investor about the business of real estate investing. Now, today I'm fortunate to have Joey Ragona join me in the show. Joey and I met probably back in 2011 or so, when we were both joined the same mastermind, even though we were taking very different or working in very different markets, working on different things. We both ended up taking a very similar path. At the time we met, we were both in the real estate investment game, being very successful in the strategy that we were focused on at the time. From there, we both went on to help other investors in our own way, and eventually transitioning into helping entrepreneurs as well as investors. Now, today we're going to talk about the business of real estate investing and what it takes to win at this game. We'll get into and discuss the seminar business, various strategies, people's mindset, what it takes to achieve freedom, and so much more. So please give it up with likes, love, shares, and a virtual flurry of thumbs up and heart icons across the screen for my guest today, Joey Ragona. Welcome, Joey.
Hey, how you doing, John?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
Oh, it's an awesome day, man. It's a Monday. I love Mondays. So it's start of a whole new week again. I love it, man.
Excellent. So we were just talking just prior to coming on stage that you had an event this weekend?
Yeah, I had a live event, streaming event, teaching lead generation, marketing, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So it was, got a little bit of very little sleep this weekend, but it was all worth it.
Excellent. So what, just to get a little techie here, what platform were you using? Webinar Jam?
I was using Webinar Jam, yeah.
Excellent.
And they're changing up their platform, so it's
I know they're getting away.
awesome.
They're getting away from Google as far as a streaming service.
Yeah.
They're going to have their own. Their own video hosting streaming service or something. So it's not dependent upon Google anymore because you can never. It's hard to run a business when you're depending upon someone else for the success of your business. So it's pretty tough.
It is.
I'm looking forward to that. Actually, I don't know if you noticed there was another. We're off the topic already. I don't know if you
the entrepreneurs, right?
I don't know if you noticed, but there was another webcasting system that was just launched November 9th. It was called Demio. I don't know if we talked about it before, but a couple of young guys just launched it.
Oh, seriously? Because I tried out Webinar Ninja as well, and that one is not bad at all. And then there's obviously the GoToWebinar, which everybody's trying to get away from because the expense is there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, it was an introductory offer, just like Webinar Jam had. So cool. It integrates seamlessly into ClickFunnels, using Optimized Press, a lot of that stuff for actually hosting your webinar. So it's not the platform for hosting. I think it's the marketing around all of the webinar. Anyway.
Okay.
We'll digress a little bit.
That's going to be for Thursday's show.
But anyway, thanks for being on the show. As mentioned, you were a previous guest. We talked about, actually we were supposed to talk about your entrepreneur's journey, but we ended up just talking about all things real estate investing, all things coaching related, because we had so many questions and answers. So for all those people that are just joining us, I'm speaking with Joey Ragona. If you haven't done so already, please like, love, share this video on all your Facebook feeds, as well as any pages you belong to, and type in your questions in the comments section. I'm going to go through a series of questions with Joey. We're going to get into the real estate investing business, but we want to hear from you guys. We want to know what your questions are, what questions you have specifically around the business of real estate investing. And if you guys are just joining me, I'm speaking with Joey Ragona. Joey's a full-time real estate investor, serial entrepreneur, #1 best-selling author, speaker, and strategic business coach. He's a founder and CEO of Engage Investor and is known as a real estate freedom coach, helping real estate entrepreneurs who are overwhelmed, unfocused, and stuck when it comes to building a successful real estate business. He's also recognized authority on joint ventures and created a highly acclaimed joint venture presentation formula, the only program that has a single focus on how and where to find joint venture investors so you can buy more properties. Now, Joey's experience comes from more than 30 years as an entrepreneur, spending his time in personal and business development training exclusively with some of the world's highest achievers, including Brendan Bouchard, John Assaraf, Frank Kern, just to name a few, and with a proven track record helping hundreds of entrepreneurs. Geez, I'm getting tired just saying all this stuff, Joey. It's
wow.
This guy's done lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Next time I reintroduce you, I'm just going to cut half this stuff out. This guy, he knows what he's talking about. So if you have any specific questions, just type them in the chat, and we'll get to them during the show. And if we don't get a chance to get to them during the show, we'll answer them after the show has already been aired. Or if you're watching the replay of this, we'll answer the questions in your comment section. Just tag Joey or myself. So Joey, you wrote a book, #1 bestseller. You got a copy of it there you can show the crowd?
I do. Look at this. Isn't that awesome?
Excellent.
Look at that.
How to win at the real estate game. So what was the biggest reason behind writing the book, other than the strategy of positioning? What's the message that you actually wanted to get out to the world?
It was really about not sacrificing your life for real estate. Really, that the whole idea was to put reality in front of people, because I've been in front of teaching so many entrepreneurs since I started real estate in 2007, and being in rooms with them and listening to their stories and listening to what they're doing and their reasons why they're not moving forward and what they want out of life and things like that. And what I really found was the overall picture of listening to hundreds of them, even thousands, was that they were actually giving up the very thing that they wanted, which was freedom, because they were stuck inside not webinars, but workshops and meetups. And there's nothing wrong with that, but they were just stuck in those types of environments over and over and over again, and just going through the loop of, I'm not sure what to do and I'm so scared of doing something. And they were willing to sacrifice their life, sacrifice moments of their life that they wanted back to build this real estate dream, but they weren't doing anything about it.
Yeah, I see so many of those people when I go to meetups, because I still go to meetups and seminars on a regular basis, and there's so many people that are in there that actually are there all the time, but they've been there for years, many of them as long as I've been going, and have yet still not taken action in the game of real estate investing. They want the freedom, they're trying to learn about it, but so many of them just don't actually pull the trigger and take action.
Right. And with that, there's only really two steps into building a better life. And that's really to have clarity in what you want to do and then to take action. And then if we, what happens is we get caught in that loop of, well, I'm not really clear about things. And that's okay to be unclear about some stuff. And that's why we go to seminars and read books and all that stuff. But then there becomes that analysis paralysis things. And if we go back to our friend, Philip McKernan, who said very, very intelligently, in the absence of clarity, take action, right? Yeah. So there's a point where, enough is enough. I'm not really sure about what I need to do. You need to take some sort of action and find out, which way you should be going.
Yeah, because that action you actually take will the path will become clear. So if you're in the middle of a forest, you just start going one way and it'll become crystal clear in a very short period of time that you're either going the right way or you're going the wrong way. So, preferably sooner rather than later, you'll figure it out that you're either going right or wrong, and then you just make the adjustment. But if you just don't do anything, you're just going to stand in the middle of the forest and you're never going to get out of there.
Yeah. And the other thing is, John, is that I think that a lot of people are so focused on what they want in the future, which is okay. But the future is, we can't really touch the future yet. Like we haven't experienced the future, and we can dream of the future, which is awesome, right? Mm-hmm. But what I do in a lot of my coaching, in a lot of my teaching, a lot of my speeches, even in the book, it's all about, if you want something better in your life and you're paralyzed by the fear of making a mistake or whatever your reason is for not moving forward, then I believe that if you attach to something that's in your life right now that you don't want, that you hate so much, that you want, the reason you want to change your life is to get out of whatever it is that you're in, a job that you hate or an experience or some situation, then if you attach to that, and allow that to become real in your life, that's the pushing mechanism. That's the motivation you need. Not I can have $10,000 of cash flow if I do this, but I'm scared to go do this. Well, turn around and look behind you, or look at today, where you just came from a place that you hated, a job, and being in traffic 2 hours to get back home again, and attach yourself to that every day. And if you keep on looking at what you don't want in your life, then it helps you get clearer on what you do.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people tell you to look at your big why, but if you actually look at your current situation, just like you said, and there's things that going on in your life that you just want to replace, or you just don't want to do them anymore, or you want something better in your life at that point in time, then hopefully that's going to be a motivator for you to take some kind of action in order to just get started. And I think a lot of people that you and I both see that going to these meetings and going to these seminars, the same people there year after year that have not done anything are just not doing that. They're just, something in their life or in their mindset is just preventing them from just taking that first step, whether they're cheap on their way to success by not hiring a coach that's going to help them overcome those hurdles, or work with them to take the very small steps or do the small tasks needed just to move them forward.
Exactly right.
So in your book, you wrote about some traps, truths, tricks in real estate investing. What specifically were you referring to when you were talking about that?
Well, a lot of the traps are really about the industry itself, and we've both been through some really great organizations that have helped us and are there to support you. I think that those are far and few between, to be honest with you. There's a lot of traps in the real estate industry. What I mean by that is there are people out there who only care about their own wallet, and they have I keep saying webinars because it's stuck in my head what I just did. So it's more workshops and seminars and things like that are promising people what they want to hear, and the magic bullets and get rich overnight, and just telling people just bullshit, and it rips people off, and it gives them false hopes, and there's a lot of traps in there that people get caught up in because they're being told and sold exactly what they want. They're being sold the dream, and I really didn't know how corrupt it actually was until I started actually coaching people in smaller groups, like 10 people in a room, and getting really personal and intimate with their stories, and I met a lot of people who it just blows me away of how these people can get on a stage and just literally lie to people and take their money and run. It just blows me away. And I've met a couple of people that I'm thinking of right now that have literally lost their entire life savings. And when one person had a very, very healthy portfolio and just wanted to increase the portfolio just a little bit, and ended up losing that entire thing. And this woman, when I met her, she was in her early to mid 70s.
Wow.
Okay. And yeah, somebody could that could steal from that. It just blows me away. So the trap really is, guys, that whoever's listening to this, if you're being sold a dream, you got to be really weary of that. Any business you get into takes work. Any business. Right. And I don't care what anybody will tell you, but that's what I believe, and I know John does as the same thing, right? If you're not willing to work and something is too good to be true, it usually is too good to be true, and don't be sold the dream. So
yeah, and especially in the positioning that I'm in, or the strategy that I'm in, is primarily no money down strategy. So people think it's just easy, and I saw a lot of success early on because I worked very, very hard. I didn't need any cash, credit, or joint venture partners, but what I did need is a lot of my time and a lot of people saying no to me, and me actually just persevering and keep going to get the first deal in the first couple of months, and then the next deal next month. And I did 24 deals in 24 months, but what people don't see is working that 10, 12 hours a day, 6-7 days a week, because that was my job to do, to generate the leads, to meet with the homeowners, to try to negotiate on getting the homes, and then showing those homes and getting people in on a rent-to-own basis. So even though it was no money down strategy, it was a lot of work, and people come into it thinking that, it's just going to be easy, because they're sold on, you can make up to $60,000 on a rent-to-own. Well, yeah, you can. But the amount of time that you actually have to put into doing that on a consistent, persistent basis, you're still getting paid very well if you break it down per hour. But it's not going to happen in the first few hours that you're going to get a property. It's going to take you being consistent, persistent. If you have a full-time job, this is a second almost full-time job in order to get there if you're using that no money down strategy. Exactly right. So I just want to do some shout outs before we move on. And I see that Joanne's joined us. Welcome, Joanne. Veronica, Rob Whitney, Balwinder's joined us. Pierre Paul Turgeon says, here, Joey.
Hey, Pierre.
Very well said. We have to be happy in the now is a way to pave the future. Yep. And my beautiful friend and guest to be on this coming Wednesday, Irene Cooper, is joining us from across the pond in Europe. I believe she lives in the UK.
Awesome.
And so welcome everybody to the show.
Welcome, guys. Thanks for being here.
And if you're just joining us, I'm speaking with Joey Ragona. Joey's a full-time real estate investor, serial entrepreneur, #1 best-selling author, speaker, and strategic business coach. Joey's a CEO and founder of Engage Investor and is known as a real estate freedom coach, helping real estate entrepreneurs who are overwhelmed, unfocused, and stuck when it comes to building a successful real estate investor business. He's also recognized authority on joint ventures and the creator of a highly acclaimed joint venture presentation formula, the only program that has a single focus on how and where to find joint ventures so you can joint venture investors so you can buy more properties. So if you have any questions you want me to ask Joey, just type them in the chat, or if you have any comments, just please type them in and we'll try to get to them during the show. And if we can't get them during the show, then we'll answer them on Facebook after the show is already been aired. And if you're watching this on the replay, just make sure you tag one of us in the questions, and we'll definitely, or in the comments, and we'll definitely follow up with you. So, Joey, when it comes to starting anything new, there's usually a lot of people that are crippled with fear, especially in this real estate investing business. There's a lot of people we just talked about that we see them at the seminars, we see them at the meetups. They're just crippled with fear. They can't take that first step. So what's your advice for those types of people to get past that fear? I mean, we talked a little bit about sort of attaching it to something they want to get rid of in their life right now, but do you have any other anything else that you can might help them out?
That's kind of where my mind is at right now. I think that's the best strategy that I would really have, because fear is kind of a manifestation of belief. Yes. Really, that's what it is. And if it really comes back to it, it's like we don't believe in ourselves that we could do it. We don't believe in whatever we say that we want, or whatever that looks like. Mm-hmm. So it's if you either you got to totally turn around and believe in what you want to go after. And one of the biggest things is that when we look at fear or we look at failure, we're looking at something that has not happened yet. And we're looking at something where, let's say it's, okay, I'm going to buy a property and I'm going to make $500 cash flow out of it, right? And let's say you buy the property and you're only going to make $100 cash flow. Right. Well, some people might look at that as a failure. They're not going, because they've put this I guess this goal, or whatever you want to look at, in the future, and saying, well, I didn't get what I set out to get, so it's a failure. So that's kind of what holds a lot of people back, when realistically it's not a failure, because it was never there in the first place. Like, you actually got a property now, and you've moved ahead, and maybe it's not $500, but maybe it's $100, right? So that's one way of looking at fear. And the other one, like we talked about already, is really about attaching to stuff that you just don't want to do anymore, stuff that you're not willing to trade your life for anymore. Because realistically, guys, like everything that we're doing in our lives that we say that we don't like to do and we want to get away from, we're trading a piece of our life every day for that. Mm-hmm. And to me, that just does not make any sense whatsoever. And I realize that, we can't change like that. We can't tomorrow go out and quit our jobs and stuff like that. Even though if you come to my coaching, that's what I'll tell you to do. But you know what I'm saying? I understand that. But what I'm asking you to do is to actually take a step today that moves you towards quitting your job in 3 months or a year from now or something. You're actually making the steps to do it. Yeah. And that's not just dreaming. It's not just saying, yeah, I'm going to go do this. No, you need to actually take strategic steps in order to do that. And sometimes that's going out and buying a property and seeing if this is the route that you want to go down. Yeah, so,
and a lot of times it's all in the individual's mindset. Mm-hmm. Like you said, it's the confidence they have in themselves, the confidence they have in their abilities. If I think back to when I first started and how unsuccessful I was, but I just took that leap of faith. I was confident in my abilities. I knew what I was talking about, or at least I had a really good grasp of what I was talking about, and I knew that I knew more than the homeowner. So that's really all that matters, is I knew more than they did. It could just be a small amount more, but I just knew a little bit more. And my success rate was abysmal. I think in the first 100 homeowners I met, I managed to convince 6 of them to say yes. And I think those 6 people that said yes were they didn't say yes to me. They were going to say yes to the first person that walked in their door. So it just happened to be me at that point in time. So, but I didn't let those constant no's over and over and over every single day, get in my head. I just sort of, I looked at the experience. I tried to figure out what I did or what I could have done better, and just analyzed and just took that next step forward. But for a lot of people, they just have to take that first step.
Yeah, it's because you built your business because of the mistakes that you made. Am I right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of people who aren't in business for their lives, or their first time getting into business, and sometimes even people who are in business, they're afraid of making the mistakes. And I welcome mistakes. It's not like I want to make mistakes, but I welcome them because it teaches me so many things, right? And I think that's the biggest thing, is we look at if you're looking at getting into real estate investing and you're looking for a guarantee, and I'm not talking about the traps and the bullshit that people talk about on stage. I'm not talking about that. But in your own mind, you're saying, okay, I'm cool. I understand that this is what I have to do, and I've joined a really good organization that really supports me and coaches and all that. But you still have this in your mind where you want to guarantee that it's not going to fail. You're going to fail. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. You can't be guaranteed that the property you're going to buy is going to be totally awesome. There's going to be something that's going to happen to you. Just be aware of that and be okay with that. And, talking about the steps, taking that first step, one of the analogies that I use in a lot of my talks, John, is that everybody's familiar with the fire walk that Tony Robbins does, right? Yeah. So if you look at it from that point of view and you say, ask a person who's at the beginning of the fire walk, why do they want to get to the end of those coals? Why are they doing it? There could be many reasons. They want to prove to themselves. They want to prove to the audience. They want to prove to their friends. They just want there's a reason why, like you said, right? There's a reason why. Behind them, there could be another reason. Why I just don't want to turn around and look like an idiot that I promised I was going to do this. Okay, so we all agree that that's kind of what they're doing it for. There's a reason they're pulling to do that. And like you said, the way to get over those coals is to take the first step. Here's the analogy. If you take that first step and you start walking and you stop in the middle of the fire, what's going to happen, man? You're
going to burn your feet.
You're going to get burned. You're going to get burned. So you can't stop. You have to keep going. Take the first step. Once you start, you got to keep going or you're going to get burned.
Yeah, you got to keep that momentum going. For sure. So what do you find, in talking to investors over the past 5 years or so, what do you think is the number one thing that they're all seeking, or the reason that they actually got into real estate? Is it that thing that they were sold on stage? Is that primarily the number one thing that why people get into real estate?
Yeah, it's freedom, definitely. Freedom in any business, any seminar we go to, everything comes back to freedom. I think whatever business that people get into, and that's kind of why where I stand in my coaching, and I call myself the freedom coach, is because really that's what I'm trying to give you. I'm trying to give you back your freedom. I'm giving you back your life, which whatever business that you're in, because it's all basically the same. People are all overwhelmed and scared of doing stuff. So in the real estate world, it's a lot of, I want to get out of my job and I want to replace it with $5,000-$10,000 of income. That's pretty much the standard all across the board. Yeah. And that's what they want. So that's been sold. However, people can tell people that they're going to make $5,000 and $10,000 to replace their income as fast as possible. That's what they're being sold. So it is about freedom, really.
Yeah, and that's really what it boils down to. And actually, not just in the real estate business, but in a lot of these business seminars or courses that we take, basically they all gear towards a lot of people, the desired outcome that a lot of people want, and that is they want their freedom. And that this course is what's going to help them either get their freedom and then all of the benefits that come along with it. So I don't think the real estate investing courses are any different than a lot of them. However, they definitely cost a hell of a lot more than most of these courses that we take, for $1,000 or $2,000. These ones are cleaning people out for 20, 40, 60,000 or more.
Exactly. And that's because courses. It's like it's sold as a magic button, right? Buy a few properties, put some tenants in it, and you don't have to do anything, and it's quote unquote passive income. It's not passive income. No. Dude, you got to work you got to work, so I don't know about you, but I don't make a lot of passive income. My real estate runs on its own. I hardly ever touch it. It's pretty awesome, but I still have to work. It's not really passive income.
No. You definitely you're definitely not going to get rich on cash flow. You get rich on the time that you hold the assets. So if you guys are just joining us, speaking with Joey Ragona. Joey's a full-time real estate investor, serial entrepreneur, #1 best-selling author, speaker, and strategic business coach. Joey is the CEO and founder of Engage Investor and is known as the real estate freedom coach, helping real estate entrepreneurs who are overwhelmed, unfocused, and stuck when it comes to building a successful real estate business. He's also recognized authority on joint ventures and the creator of the highly acclaimed joint venture presentation formula, the only program that has a single focus on how and where you find joint venture investors so you can buy more properties. Now, if you guys have any specific questions or comments, just type them in the chat. And as always, be sure to like, love, share this video with all the people on your Facebook feed. And if we don't have a chance to get to your comments or questions, we'll answer them after the show. And I just want to welcome Sharon Panza, Russell Tober, and Barry Schimmel. And Barry says, the more no's, the better. After 99 no's, you make a sale. So and Barry used to be in real estate investing. Actually, he still holds a fair bit of real estate. He weathered the last storm in the U.S. He still holds quite a few commercial properties down in the U.S. So thanks for joining us, everybody. And yeah, it's really, you don't learn in the yeses, you learn in the no's. You don't learn in your successes, you learn in your failures. So
exactly.
The more you fail, the more you potentially could learn, which is why a lot of successful people go through a lot of failures before they become successful, but a lot of people just see that they're overnight successes. So
yeah, so like, when we talk about the no's and we talk about the failures and successes and all that stuff, right? I mean, I followed a lot of I tried to model a lot of the people that were on stage and all that stuff, and I just think that really when it comes to whatever real estate you're getting into, especially joint ventures and going out and asking people for money and all this kind of stuff, it has a lot to do with who you are as a person.
Right.
And there's great strategies and models and everything out there, but when I was doing it and I followed everything to a T, it didn't work for me because I hate selling people. I hate going to talk to people and asking them about money, and there's a lot of people out there who are like that. They don't want to ask people for money, but I'm really good at showing people what I'm passionate about, and I'm okay with being vulnerable, and I'm totally open to whatever it is you want to ask me. I have no secrets. Just go ahead and ask me, and I'll tell you what it is. Sometimes I open the book way too much. People are like, whoa, I don't want to know that, right? Yeah. So I'm okay with that, and I think that a lot of people are not. They're so closed in with their life, and when you're partnering up with people with money and getting all that kind of stuff, a lot of it's a partnership. You have to be open with everything in your life going on, right? So when I approach real estate, my joint venture, the way that I approach it is that it is a total relationship that I want to build. I don't want 100 properties. I don't want 50 properties. And I don't want 100 joint venture partners either. I want, a very small, tight-knit group that we could all go and have a barbecue together, and we're just talking life, and everything gels. I don't have to sell people. So I don't go out and ask people for money. That's not what my strategy is. People come to me. Now, I'm not trying to sell that, hey, I have this magic formula of words or something that I say that people automatically come to me. That's not what happens. What happens is I talk about what's real in my life. I talk about the things that are important to me. And the right people who are listening and watching my Facebook feed or something, or watching me say this right now, are connecting. They're going, yeah, this guy is somebody that I connect with, and I'm attracted to that dude magnetically, right? And I'm on his same vibe. That's how I attract joint venture partners. Guys, the last thing that I want to do personally, and I'm not saying that you should do it, but the last thing I want to do is get up and go and meet people and give them a freaking presentation. I just do not want to do that.
No,
and any of my joint venture partners will tell you that I never did that. I just went to their house after they said, hey, what's this all about? And I didn't go with a presentation. I didn't go with any data and ROI stuff and all that. Here's a deal and shit. It's just like, hey, what do you want? Why do you want to invest in real estate? What's it for? Let me see if there's a fit of what I'm doing, because it's really about me. Like, honestly, it's about me. And I'm not telling them this, but it's about, do I want you in my life? Because if you're one of those dudes that's going to be every week calling me about something you saw on CNN or whatever it is and all that kind of shit, I don't want to deal with it. So my JV partners are awesome people because they're exactly like me. And they're totally hands off. I never see them except when I want to get together for chicken wings and beer. And that's it. We don't talk about real estate. We talk about life. So that's the strategy that I think is so important about building a real estate business. Sorry that I got on a tangent there.
No, that's actually, it's like that for any business. Actually, it's people, getting together in any business or partnership with any business. The people that you want to actually be around on a regular basis that aren't going to be there sort of every week wondering what's going on, wondering how their money's doing. They're understanding that it's a bigger picture than the day to day to day. And by looking after the day to day, they don't have to, but understanding that how their money is secured is very important. But it's really having these people resonate with you. So basically, a lot of times when I have a conversation with a potential investor or a potential client, I guarantee one or two things are going to happen. They're going to resonate with my message and get to know me and learn to like me and trust me, or I'm going to repel them. And I'm okay with that. If I repel them because they don't like the message, or they don't like me, or how I conduct myself, that's perfectly fine, because I really didn't want them in my business anyway.
Exactly. And a lot of people will come up to me in the real estate space and ask me, how do I convince people to invest with me? Like, wow, like, you don't convince anybody.
No.
You attract people to invest with you by just being who you are and putting yourself out into the world. Because why would you want to do business with somebody you don't like? Just like you said, John, right? And all of our coaching clients that we both have, like, I want people who are somebody that I can hang out with, that when I'm walking down the street, if I see them, I'm not going to avoid them because they're paying me, they're my client, but holy crap, I don't want to deal with them, right? Only when they're paying me, I want to deal with them. That's not how I want to run my business. So, I have zero stress in my life. There's very little time, very few times when I have any stress, and that's a pretty cool life to have. It's not because I make millions of dollars in real estate. It's because I've built my real estate business to fit my life. And that's what this book is all about. It's all about real estate fitting your life. There's no strategy in this book at all. It's, everybody who's read this book, and I'm so honored that when I get somebody calling me back or emailing me about this book, that it has changed their life. And I know that's a cliche and everybody says all that stuff, but it's an honor because they're resonating with the message that's in here that has nothing to do with go buy, rent to own, go buy, apartment buildings, go buy whatever. It's nothing to do with that, because it makes you think differently about whatever it is that you're doing. And that is the honor of having this in people's hands, because that's the message I want to get out, right?
And that book is great for, it doesn't matter what strategy you're doing. That book is the message in the book is going to be effective for everybody, regardless of the strategy. So, Joey, how does someone know what strategy they should be focusing on when it comes to real estate, or what niche they should be focusing on?
Yeah. So what I do is I call this the hypersonic investment strategy, because a lot of people want to know how to get properties fast, right? So there's four different ways in my mind. There's four fundamentals of real estate that are important, and that's cash flow, it's tenant profile, it's location, and it's appreciation, right? Those are four, and there's more, but I mean, those are my four fundamentals that I think are the most important in real estate. And if you look at all of those, and I ask you, okay, well, which one of those is the most important to you? And when you actually sit around and do the exercise, because a lot of people will immediately go to cash flow, right? They'll say cash flow is the most important thing. And I'll say, great. Well, then are you doing everything that you can right now to make the most cash flow you can? And the answer probably is no to a lot of people, because they could be doing a lot of things. And the answer for me is still no. Like, if you ask me, am I doing everything I can to make the most cash flow? The answer is no, because I could be buying somewhere else. I could be doing other strategies. And that's where the other pieces of the puzzle come into play, because it's about, well, how does that going to affect your life? Because if it's all about cash flow and you can go down to, whatever it is and flip a house and make $100,000, but you've got to actually go down and do the work and all this other stuff, that all that chaos and other stuff enters your life, how does that affect you? Then cash flow becomes secondary or third or fourth, right? Because then it might become, well, no, it's more about the tenants. I don't want to deal with those types of tenants. So that's one of the strategies, is really looking at those four parameters and saying, what's the most important thing to me that doesn't affect my life? So that's how I look at it. And then the hypersonic strategy is really about creating, starting out with one investment niche, because a lot of people go in with all kinds of strategies and opportunities. And you and I both know that there are multiple great strategies out there that somebody is making a lot of money in, right?
Yes.
So if you the hypersonic investment strategy is not in a linear order. So when I say one investment niche, the next step is, or not step, I should say, it's part of it is 2 to 3 investment groups and clubs and coaches, because a lot of us go to every single thing. So eventually, after you've gone through a few months of investigating all these different areas, just choose 2 or 3 that are really resonating with you, really light you on fire. Because, like I said at the beginning, if you're trading your life for the freedom that you say you want, and you're stuck in seminar rooms every single day or night of the week, and you're running home from work trying to get these things because you're chasing all these opportunities, which goes back to the one investment niche, you're never going to get anywhere. So, the next piece of it is 5 to 6 books. Like, actually invest your time into researching and reading and taking programs and stuff like that. 5 or 6 a year. That's all it is. Even if it's one book, you can read a book in 2 months. Like, if you really focus on it, you could read a book in 2 months. And then really 7 to 9 months of research. If real estate investment is that important to you, then focus and say to yourself, in 7 to 9 months, I'm going to do this, and I'm okay with running around and doing all this stuff for those 7 to 9 months, but then take action. Do something. Go and do something after those 9 months. And the last thing of it is 10 hours. 10 hours a week. You should be incorporating all that stuff I just told you. That's my real estate investment, hypersonic strategy. Again, it's not a linear order. Mm-hmm. It's just all those pieces that fit in together, and it ends up being that you're investing in one niche at the end of those 7 to 9 months, testing it out, like you said at the beginning. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, let's adjust it. If not, do something different. But boom, now you've moved ahead and you've done something.
Yeah, you've taken that first step. So, and I think for a lot of people, that's the most important thing, is just to take that first step, to move in some direction. So then you can determine if that's the direction you want to go, or you need to make some adjustments and move into a different direction. So if you guys are just joining me, I'm speaking with Joey Ragona. Joey's a full-time real estate investor, serial entrepreneur, #1 best-selling author, speaker, and strategic business coach. Joey's the CEO and founder of Engaged Investor, and is also known as the Real Estate Freedom Coach, helping real estate entrepreneurs who are overwhelmed, unfocused, and stuck when it comes to building a successful real estate business. He's also the recognized authority on joint ventures and the creator of the highly acclaimed joint venture presentation formula, the only program that has a single focus on how and where to find joint venture investors so you can buy more properties. If you guys have any specific questions, just type them in the comment section. We'll get to them during the show. And if not, we'll answer them after the show. And as always, please like, love, share this video on your Facebook feed and in any pages that you monitor. And as well, if you haven't done so, please go to the John Anthony McCabe Facebook page, the show's Facebook page, and please like the page as well. So, awesome. Joey, what do you consider a logical process? You know what? Scrap that question. You've already answered it. I have a list of questions just so I don't.
I just keep rolling on, man. I'm screwing up your whole thing.
Yeah. What do you see as some of the biggest mistakes or misconceptions people have when it comes to getting into real estate investing?
Okay. Mistakes, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to go with the misconceptions, because I deal a lot with that. And a lot of the misconceptions are that people are again thinking that they could go from 0 to 12 or 0 to 15 in a year or something like that. They can buy a property a month. No, there's nothing wrong. There are ways of doing that. There are people who do it. But I think the reality is that when you're getting into real estate, you're not going to be this guy who's going to buy 12 properties and quit your job in a year, right? That's the misconception that everybody sold. And because I know, like I ask people, what do they want? And they'll tell me that. And I'll say, well, great. How many properties do you have? And they'll say, nothing. I'm just getting started. Or, you got to kind of bring them back into reality. Say, no, that's cool. Like, there are people that you probably saw on stage who did that, but that's not the norm, right? No. It's like, you and I in a business where we have a really good month, and then we'll say, well, hey, let's average our whole income on that 1 month. That's not realistic.
No, it's way too many ups and downs.
Yeah. So the misconception is that I can do this overnight or in the next 12 months. I think that we overestimate what we can do in a year. Like
Yeah,
we truly do. And we're all the same. I'm not pointing any fingers. And we underestimate what we can do in 3 years. And I
very
think that
true.
we don't want those 3 years. Like we're not willing to wait those 3 years to get whatever it is we want. And that keeps us in analysis paralysis because we want that 1 year thing.
That's right. We'll do. We're always looking at today. We're not, taking action or doing things, looking 3 years ahead. We're just trying to get today. We live in an immediate gratification society. Everybody wants everything yesterday. They don't want to put in the work and take the time to do it right and reap the benefits in 3 to 5 years. They want to reap the benefits tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
But they're not doing anything about it, right?
No.
So then that's where, like in the book, I talk about the reset button, the 5-year reset. And I don't know if you remember that piece of it, but the 5-year reset, I figured that out after listening again to people telling me what their plans were, right? And the 5-year reset is basically they've got a 5-year plan, because a lot of the real estate courses and stuff will teach you that, and there's nothing wrong with having a 5-year plan.
No.
But you'll ask me today what my 5-year plan is, and I'll tell you, and then I'll meet you next year again, and I'll say, yeah, my 5-year plan is this. I want to buy 10 properties, and you'll say, great, how many do you got now? And I'll say, well, none. And so I've wasted a whole year of not doing anything, or I'm researching, and that's cool, right? I'm not blaming anybody. If that's you, that's cool. But don't tell me that it's still your 5-year plan. Now it's your 4-year plan. Okay.
So either your 4-year plan is now, well, if it's still 10, it's still 10. I guess you better do a lot of work to make up for that 1 year of lost time.
Yeah. Even if it's not really lost time, it's research time and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I just want to have the mindset of, well, here's my 5-year plan. No, it's not. Like, because I've met people who have told me the same thing over and over again 3-4 years in, and we're now in the 4th year, and I'll say, so what's your plan? And they say, well, my 5-year plan is, and I'll go, hold on a second, you told me that 3 years ago. It's not your 5-year plan anymore.
Yeah.
And again, I want to really forward this with, well, it's okay that if you do get to the end of your 5-year plan and you didn't buy 10 properties, but you've been doing stuff, it's okay. It's cool. Like, it's just understand that whatever you did, whatever those choices you made, got you to where you were. Now you've got to do a new 5-year plan at that point. You can't keep pushing the reset button. Yesterday's gone, guys. It's gone. You can't keep resetting.
No. And so I know we touched on this a little bit already, and I mentioned in the intro that we were going to discuss this, and I know this is a hot topic for both of us. So
Okay.
What are your thoughts on the real estate investing seminar industry? Not being specific on any one brand, any one company, just the industry as a whole.
Yeah, we talked a little bit already about what it is that I think it's an industry that is selling people on dreams, and it's not, in my view, it's an industry that is making a lot of money off of other people's dreams.
Yeah.
It's not the only industry out there. There's a lot of
others
them
doing
out
it
there,
too.
right? There's a lot of them that do this, but it's like get somebody on stage who will tell you what you want to hear, so they'll reach into your pocket and take all the money from you and not really give a shit about whatever happens to you at all. They're just there to make as much money as they can at that point. And so that's the way the industry is. I've seen it. I've witnessed people who've told me that. I've witnessed people, who've, like I said, who've lost their entire life savings, who have they have nothing left, nothing, and no remorse whatsoever, no moral standards from the person who stole it from them, because let's be real, that's stealing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't fathom that. I can't understand how people could get up there and do that.
Yeah, and it's not just in this industry either. There's it happens in a lot of different industries, and
anything that's get rich quick,
Yeah, and real estate investing is known for that get rich quick thing, but there's also a lot of, in the internet marketing space now, is a lot of it is that get rich quick stuff.
So we're both in that new space now too, and I'm entering that, and I do a lot of coaching in that space as well. And on my on my entry page, you're coming into any of my webinars or teachings and all that, I specifically say, if you're a biz op person or you're looking for get rich quick stuff, like don't even come to this training. I don't want to deal with you.
No.
Because there's nothing. I just don't want to deal with that mentality, because again, you have to work. If you want to build an online business and make $1 million selling products and stuff, you got to work your ass off.
Oh yeah. So I mentioned to you, I'm headed down next month. I'm headed down to speak at Go Live and Profit event by Mike Koenigs, which is all about live streaming and Facebook Live. And I'm working on crafting my talk. And so what my talk is actually going to be about is the biggest misconception, or what people are being told or shown or sold on this new strategy is, use Facebook Live and make like 4, 5, 6 figures a month.
Right.
Which is really not the reality. I mean, there are people doing that, but those are people that have a huge following. They've already built up a huge brand name. They are the authority in their marketplace. But the average person going to these events is not going to generate overnight 4, 5, 6 figures a month.
That's right.
And so my talk is going to be geared towards those people to make them realize that, that's not going to happen. It's just not going to work.
That's what people, I think, need to hear. And again, you talked about repelling other people, and those are the people in the room that are going to go, no, this guy's full of shit. I want to talk to the other dude who's promising me that I'm going to make $1 million tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So I want to deal with the people like you talked about, the people that are coming to my seminars who are willing to spend a weekend with me learning the real stuff, because I'm showing them inside my business. I'm showing them Infusionsoft. I'm showing them, here's the sales that I've made. Here's the reality of how many actual leads I'm getting in and how many are opting out and blah, blah, blah. Like all that stuff. That's really true. Yeah. Here's I bought all these programs, and here's kind of what works and what doesn't work. I don't care what people are telling you, and I'm willing to work for it. I'm willing to build my business this way. So I honor you for that, John.
Yeah, I'm going to walk them through a process of how they can bridge that gap, because that is my process, the Authority Acceleration Program, right? Right. How can you accelerate your authority so that you can eventually be like those people? But it's not going to happen tomorrow. We're at an event where a lot of them are going to be told that they can go out and just start doing Facebook Live shows and they'll start making money like the next day, which is not going to happen. So
no.
If you want to build your brand, build your reputation, build your authority, do these things that I'm going to lay out for you, and then you will be able to make that 4 or 5 figures a month eventually, over time, being consistent, persistent, putting in the time and the effort. But it's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah, and that relates right back to what we're talking about here in real estate, in talking to people about money, right? So because a lot of investors will go to people and they'll give their presentation that they were taught and all this other kind of stuff, and the people will say, no, I'm not interested, and then they'll move on to other people. Well, that's the wrong strategy to do. Yeah, move on to other people, but that person at that time was not interested yet. They're like a moving parade, they're the same people, just speak to them differently, give them new information, give them value. Don't just be that salesperson. It's a persistence over time, and I'm not talking about persistence of going, hey, do you want to buy a real estate investment? It's more about the stuff that they're interested in. And if you align with what I'm talking about at the beginning, where you can just talk about stuff that they relate to, like life, or that you like snowmobiling and they like snowmobiling, and it's awesome, and you just went snowmobiling during the day and they were at work, like that's the kind of stuff they're relating to. And if you're talking to them, just sending them a simple email or something that has nothing to do with real estate eventually becomes about real estate. And that's how I get my JVs, because it has nothing to do with real estate. It's about life.
Yeah, and they're connecting with you as a person, and they get to know you, like you, and trust you. And that's really what it boils down to. People do business with people. They don't do business with brands. They don't do business with big companies. I mean, they're just typically, for the really big brands, they're going to buy Nike over New Balance or whatever. But it's really about the people that they resonate with behind the brand, behind the company that works at that Starbucks or the Tim Hortons or whatever. A lot of times it's those connections that they make, because one bad experience, they'll stop going to that particular outlet and then start going somewhere else, right? Maybe they'll leave Tim Hortons and start going to Starbucks because the barista there treats them better.
Right. And I think that's what it comes down to in terms of loyalty and repeat customers. And you just talked a little bit about that. You know, a loyalty customer is somebody who is going to listen to you and give you a break when you do make a mistake or you do something that was not the best price over here. But if you have a repeat customer, like a Walmart type of customer, the repeating customers, those are customers that you have to continuously give them good prices and discounts and all that kind of stuff. They'll keep buying from you, but you have to always be on top of stuff. I want to deal with loyalty customers where I don't have to always give you the best price. I'm just giving you really good value. And sometimes I'm going to screw up and you're going to give me a break, right? And that's the way I was taught from my dad's company, and that's how he built that, with loyalty customers. Not about repeat customers. Yeah,
I'm actually going through the exact same thing. When I was doing some live casting for one of my private clients, things did not work out in the 2 sessions we did. I made some mistakes. It wasn't to the quality that she wants to represent her brand, and I feel horrible about it. And I'm like trying to do whatever I can to make it up to her by offering a lot more services, by just trying to fix the situation, because I understand everybody makes mistakes, and I understand that same situation, right? It's like, what can I do to make it up to you, or how can I make things better? Because I want you to have that quality of service. So if that means I'm going to give you more services or do more things to help you out, then I'm going to do that, because that's the type of business I want to run for myself. That's the reputation I want to have. Is, I might screw something up, but I'm damn sure going to stand up for my product or my service, and I'm going to fix it, and I'm going to go over and above what the normal person would do. For sure. And that's the way it is in real estate. Everything that you do in your real estate business, especially with your joint ventures, is over and above what anybody else will do. And I talk a lot about guarantees in my real estate, and that's like a no word. You can't guarantee shit in your real estate. No. Well, I can guarantee to my joint venture partner what I'm going to do for them. That's right. In terms of, I'm not talking about you're going to make $1 million. Yeah. I'm not talking about returns. I'm talking about convenience. I'm talking about, don't even worry if you don't have the money for a cash call, because I've got a line of credit sitting over here, and I'm going to take care of that worry for you. We're not going to lose the property. No, the tenants, if it trashes, we've got it taken care of. So I'm guaranteeing them peace of mind. I can guarantee them all kinds of stuff, and I go over and above what a lot of investors won't do. And I'm just by having money sitting in a line of credit that I'm not doing anything with, just so I can have it to keep the peace of mind of my joint venture partners, that what if I don't have the $10,000 to come up with? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like little things like that, John, is where I've just gone ahead and looked at what are the problems that they're going to come up with, the blocks that are going to come up with when they're actually looking at the real investment. Okay, let's talk about logistics now. Right? Yeah, you're overcoming those obstacles before they even become an obstacle.
Yeah.
Definitely. And Pierre-Paul Turgeon says, good reality check for current and wannabe real estate investors. No overnight get-rich-quick scheme or successes. The same applies to investing in apartment buildings. So, yeah, it's a reality check. There is no get-rich-quick scheme. It all takes work. People make it appear, or they appear out of nowhere that they're successful, but people don't see what it's taken them to get to that point in time.
Exactly, and like Pierre's the real deal. Like Pierre as well. Yeah. Like so he knows his shit. And when people are asking me about apartments, I'm gonna totally give them to Pierre, because he goes through it every day. He's gone through the system. Like for me, it makes no sense for me to go through the trenches by myself and figure all this stuff out just because a coach is gonna cost me money. I would rather pay somebody to go through their stuff and not do the same mistakes that they did. I'm talking about real coaches. These are not people. Anybody that I recommend and John recommends are people that we know personally, that we've been through their stuff. Yeah. And we're not trying to line our pockets with anything, and neither are these guys. So it's important that if you trust me or John or whoever it is in your life, and they give you if they give you a referral, take that advice and go and pay somebody to help you with their business. And I remember when we first joined, Greg's program many years ago. That was a hard decision for me to put down a lot of money to go and ask somebody for help. It was a lot of money, but it was the best decision I ever made. I wouldn't be sitting here with you right now if I did not do that decision to help myself, and I will never stop doing that.
No, you'll always reinvest in yourself, as will I. We'll always keep moving forward and reaching out to people who are where we want to be, and we'll learn from their mistakes and try to get that shortcut, because that's what a coach is there for, to try to help them get to where they want to be, and compressing that time.
Yeah.
But Joey, that's all the time. We're actually over for today, but that's all the time we have for today. I want to personally thank you again for being on the show. I know that we're going to be on Thursday. It's the Joey Ragona week. We're going to be on Thursday. Hot seat coaching. I don't have any guests lined up to coach, but we'll try to do a lot of Q&A on coaching. Business coaching, things like that. But I personally want to thank you again for being on the show. Everyone show Joey some love. Hit that like button, love button, and be sure to share this on your Facebook feed and any business pages that you promote. If you have any questions, just type them in the comment section, tag one of us, and we'll get to it after the show. But thanks again, Joey, and I look forward to catching up with you again on Thursday.
Yeah, thanks, John. Thanks, everybody, for watching. It was awesome. I always love these shows, and thank you for giving me the platform to get my message out, John. I really appreciate it.
No worries. And you guys just stick around. I'll be back with closing remarks. Now, thanks for joining me on today's John A. McCabe Show, where we work with entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers get seen, get heard, get noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device. Now, also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now, if you're someone who's looking to take your business to the next level and want to get some coaching advice, why not apply to be a guest on today's show? Now, for most entrepreneurs, we want to create a life of our own, create our own path, and do what we can to reach our own desired outcome, which is generally freedom. Freedom to choose what we want to do, when we want to do it, and with whom we want to do it. A life that's full of options and choices, where we worry less about money and more about the quality of time that we spend with others. Now, a great way to make that happen is to leverage other people's knowledge, time, and skill sets. Step one to reaching our freedom life is to realize that you can't do it alone. Working with a coach or being involved in masterminds is a great way for entrepreneurs to move their business forward. Now, a coach can help you shorten the time frame to get you from where you are to where you want to be, while being part of a mastermind is meant to bring entrepreneurs together, all with the goal of helping each other move forward with their business. Now, the second step to creating the life you envision for yourself as an entrepreneur is to implement systems into your business so you can streamline your operations, leverage systems, and free up your time to focus on your family, having fun, and the highest leverage activities in your business. You know, the activities that get you the biggest return on your time invested, the ones that truly make you money. Now, sometimes we just don't know what systems we need, how to implement those systems, or even have the time to find out what is needed. Now, working with a coach or consultant that understands, uses, and specializes in systems that can streamline your operations can help save you time, aggravation, and make you a lot more money. Now, for example, having a system or strategy that allows you to leverage just 15 hours of your time into enough repurposed content to get you seen, get you heard, get you noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device is a great example of leverage. Now, just imagine a system where you invest just 15 hours of your time, and the end result is you're a #1 best-selling author. You have enough content that's going to get you seen, get you heard, get you noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device. You have a successful podcast. Now, it's automatically attracting more attention, giving more value, and generating more leads, which enables you to attract an abundance of paying customers. Now, this is also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now, to find out more about the Authority Acceleration Blueprint, coaching program, or mastermind, then contact me via my website at johnamccabe.com or connect with me through my show's Facebook page. Now, again, thank you for joining us on today's show, and I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's show when I have another great guest on discussing their business and accelerating their authority. So have yourself an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you again real soon.